Hello and welcome to another episode of Brody Moore's podcast. Some of you, most of you, know me as LiefX from the Rocket League scene. The point of this podcast is to journey around, sit down and just chat with folks around the scene, see where the conversation goes. And that's what we've been doing, I think, successfully for a while. Anybody that has been supporting and watching, thank you so much. And continue to leave your suggestions for who you'd like to see next in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. This is also available on Spotify if you'd rather just listen to the audio portion. I mean, there's video on Spotify, which is freaking cool anyways. But yeah, if you'd like to have it in that format, head on over to the links below. And if you want to join in the conversation, you got to get over to the YouTube version of this and leave comments below. But I want to get to our guest. I want to get talking. Because on today's episode, I don't know what number it is, but today's episode is Mr. Shogun.
I might as well set the standard already. Cheers to everybody.
Cheers. If you got your beverages, raise them up. I got my coffee.
Luke's been awake for about 30 minutes, and I'm closing up on my day now.
I love it. This is such an interesting thing about working in this world, right? Is that our friends and colleagues are spread so far and wide that you just working with time zones is just second nature now. Like you're like, oh yeah, that one's 5, that one's 3.
I can definitely tell like East Coast and West Coast very easily these days, and unless we have like, there's 2 weeks every single year that the job becomes horrific because it's when we change our clocks and the rest of the world doesn't. Yeah. And I have so nearly missed call times so many times purely because of that.
Yeah.
Horrific.
I hate just time zones changing in general. I don't know
I really do not respect farmers enough to allow this to affect my life. If you're a farmer out there,
go screw yourself.
Be better. Be better.
Why are you so selfish, farmers? It's not like you provide our sustenance.
Why are you changing an entire time period for yourselves? All right, I'm not asking for that much.
If we got any farmers, get angry in the chat, right?
I love the idea that they're just listening away to this podcast whilst they're out in the fields.
I just like the idea that half my audience is out in a combine right now.
You see like a dramatic decrease in subs after this one episode.
You know what? Drops.
I wouldn't apologize if that ended up happening. You know I'd find that far too funny.
Honestly, I'd probably laugh too. The fact that was the reality of the viewership before. Who else are we targeting this episode? Who else is under the radar?
Oh, we'll figure it out. It's got to be natural. It's got to be natural. We can't just, target anywhere.
Missiles have to just flow to their target.
If we really want to make life difficult for ourselves in the near future, the Germans. Oh,
oh my God. Okay. Well,
I can't wait to go to Dusseldorf, man. It's so good.
Let's get those jabs in early, preemptively here. So I got to ask though, what are you sipping on? Because you've been big into mixology recently, and which is interesting to me because I've come from the bar industry, so it's cool to see an interest in that. What are you sipping on?
I made a whiskey sour.
Oh, nice, classic.
I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah. It's half done because
if there's ever a break in this episode today, we're just cuts
that's exactly why.
It's because he had to get over
time. Oh, all right, okay, I've mixed it up. All right, I've got a bottle of water right here next to me. That I believe is getting green screened by certain effects that I have on my OBS. Bottle of water.
Can you say water?
I'm looking forward to like the 50-50 of people trying to figure out, is that an alcohol sip or is that a water sip? Ooh,
it's just pure Russian vodka in that bottle.
No, I am not that. I'm not that brave, mate. I really am not. But I really enjoyed the mixing side of things, mostly because like I think it looks cool. It was actually more of a how the bottles look in the house sort of thing, especially in a house like mine that you literally look behind me. It's a bit nerdy.
I gotta say right now though, your setup in the background, and again, if you're just listening to audio right now, you're missing out. I mean, I'm sure you've seen his background on broadcast before, and if you're watching his streams, but your background is so sick. How long was this? This was an ongoing process to set all this up.
It's been mix and match. The like image stuff on the very wall itself, like that's been there since I first moved in.
Yes.
But the rest of it is just because I didn't move out until like midway through COVID. Okay. And I had that moment of like, all right, I've got RLCS, I've got my own place. I'm just gonna go wild. What do I want? You know? because who knows how long I'm necessarily going to have that option. So I went wild. I just got stuff that I liked.
How did you like? So are these shelves behind you right now? People listening to Just Audio are going to be very mad about this section. Are those shelves custom? Did you get these? Are these like IKEA shelves?
Let's really annoy them even more, shall we?
What's happening during this?
What was that? What sip did he take? Oh my goodness! How will you ever figure it out? No, those are two that I got. Oh, I forgot the website. It's not Gumtree. It can't be Gumtree. I just got two of them from a website. It might have been Gumtree actually. Okay. So yeah, they're two separate ones that I just inverted so that way it would look like they're one big one. So yeah, that was actually one of the easier things in here to actually build, that's the one thing that you don't realize when you get your own place is, I'm gonna have to build everything now.
You can't pay the movers to set it up for you?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't justify that to myself.
Fair.
Unless it was something really, really big. But
yeah, I guess it's unless you're a very, very busy person, paying someone else to set your furniture up for you kind of feels like it makes you really question your usefulness to the society if you can't build your own furniture.
I think there's just a moment there where you just like, no, I can do that. Come on, I don't need to be spending money on that. Like that's a little bit daft.
Yeah.
But again, it really is dependent on the thing, probably how valuable the thing is that you're building. There is also the state of, I ain't touching that. Like for example, if something in this house that is like the pipes break or something like that, I am not touching that.
Because you can make it worse.
More expensive if I get that wrong.
Yeah, there's some things I don't touch. HVAC, gas lines. I had a bit of a. I was in my living room. I'm like, why does that smell like rotten eggs? One of my gas lines started leaking. I almost blew up.
I didn't know it smelled like rotten eggs. Okay.
Yeah,
well, good nose on you there, Leaf.
If you smell sulfur, the rotten egg smell, and you can't really tell where it's coming from, get out of the house and call your utilities company immediately. Because they'll come. They came it was like 2 a.m. when I called them. Yeah, so that was like, oh crap. And the guy tested it and he's like, the levels were, he said the levels were at explosive levels.
Ooh, no.
Yeah. So, and what's freaky is that I had smelt it a month before, but it went away after like 5 minutes. So I'm like, oh, maybe it was just my, some smell from outside crept in. But yeah, apparently it had been.
That is actually kind of terrifying because that's just like one move, one unknowing move.
Yeah.
And you just mess it all up. You're just gone.
Hey, here, to be fair though, if you're gonna go out, I'd rather go out in a way that's immediate, right? Like you're not suffering.
You did always say you'd like it to be explosive, but I didn't realize that you were gonna be that literal.
I want it to be dying in a giant fireball that takes out multiple houses around you. That's a pretty badass way to go.
I don't really respect the collateral involved in this. So I'm gonna go at firstly, don't want to take the spotlight off myself. That's actually about it. That's my only problem with all of this. Wow, yeah. A conversation, Leaf.
Okay, but back to I had 2 more questions on this thing behind you. One is, how long did the lighting take to set up? Are you using smart lights or is it just LEDs? Like, did you DIY the lighting?
No. That was expensive. That is smart lights.
Smart lights. Okay. I mean, look at me. All my stuff is my whole house. I have just in this room alone 1, 2, 3, 4 smart lights, and then out there I got like motion. I'm all about the smart light stuff, so I feel you on that.
This is the joy of living in the UK. You are literally looking at like 40% of my house right now.
That's true. that's true. Okay, the last question about your background. What's your favorite part of it?
I'm gonna suck up here. Okay. I will go over here.
Yep.
Pick this up. I'll get my Waves Wacky Wonders.
Oh, the trophy. Let's go.
Let's go. Obviously, again, it's got some void in it because there's some green in there. But no, I'm proud. I love that. That's so cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Not what you expect, like, when you participate in something like that.
What was that? Oh, you didn't
necessarily expect when you participate in something like that. And just like, I completely forgot about it. And we got to Fort Worth. And we're just like, I got something for you guys. Oh,
and it shows up. That's great.
Yeah.
If
I got to transport this back now.
People haven't watched it. I think he's got it on YouTube. It's on YouTube, right? Did he?
He does.
I think he did on Wavepunk's YouTube channel. Check it out. Waves Wacky Wonders was really fun. Just a good little trivia show. competition between the casters, and Shogi was the most brilliant of them all. Apparently.
I won the European one.
The European one, okay. Who
We
won
had like a Europe, because I think Stumpy was in a different one entirely. My group was me, Johnny, Cole. And that is the only time I think Wave's ever seen me fully competitive, because I got angry at him for one of the questions that he said I got wrong. He had an F1 section in this.
Oh.
And he was like, in F1, 100 different drivers have done this.
Oh, I do remember that, yeah.
And I was like, all right, it's Paul. He's like, win a race. And I Googled this. I was like, no, this number is closer. They're both over 100, number one.
Wait, did he just expose himself? He was Googling the answers while on a game show?
No, I Googled it afterwards.
Is this fraud?
I was adamant. I do not need to fraud my way through the F1 questions. I will have you know.
That's fair enough. Okay, I want to move to something else about your life relatively recently. The topic now is kittens. Do you have one nearby?
Right here.
Because you got two now.
I have two now. Chloe and Boop.
How's the crazy cat man life been for you?
Raining. It was pretty easy with what Chloe is. As easygoing as it comes. Like, I have to do very little for Chloe. She's even like nowadays become like a lap cat. Originally didn't want anything to do with me, pretty much. It was just, I'm gonna go and hide, and I will see you at some point when you're gonna feed me. Which is a bit rough when it's an indoor cat. So speaking to people like Achieves, speaking to Corey, who used to run the RLCS side for everything, everyone's telling me like, get a second cat. You have to, especially if they're indoors, get them a second cat. So this Boop coming in was more for Chloe than it was for me.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I would say it completely agree. Chloe needed a playmate.
Someone to,
and they are complete opposite personality types. Chloe is easygoing, just wants to, snuggle up, and the rest of it. Boop, you are a nightmare. She's right down there, and she knows. She is the cause of every problem in my entire life.
What is she doing?
I think the best way to describe this is like, imagine a monkey's paw. Imagine if you turn into a monkey's paw and just went, oh, I wish I had no fear. Boop is what that would be.
Okay, yeah, so you gotta keep an eye.
The best way I've described this to anybody is that if this cat was not an indoor cat, this cat would not be alive right now. Like, no fear over anything. When I first got Chloe in, got down the carrier, opened it up, and we were just like, all right, we'll let her get out in her own pace. We don't want to rush this or anything like that. That took 6 hours overall. And that took a bit of coaxing as well of, she's hungry now. She's going to come and find some food. When we got Boop in, put the carrier down, open it up, she's out. Nothing. No way whatsoever. I am out. What is going on? Who are you? And are you going to fuss me anytime soon? Like, this cat was everywhere. And we got to the point where it's just like you're trying to introduce the two cats to each other because Chloe knows something's going on in her house. Firstly, because she's been trapped in my room for the entire week. We've got like a little cat divider.
Okay.
Like just giant, just sheet. Not even necessarily sheet. I don't really know how to describe it, but you just zip it up.
Separate the territory.
But you want them to be able to see each other through it and start looking at each other. They open it up. Chloe's having none of it whatsoever. But Chloe's like looking around the corner. What on earth is going on there? What did you bring into my house? Boop is climbing it. She is like the size of me as she has climbed up this thing and is just staring. It's like, I want to play with that. That looks like a lot of fun. So
she's like, let me at her. Let me at her.
She honestly was. So it took a bit of time. It actually, they say 2 weeks. I think these two are fine with each other at the end of day 5. Shout out to Shogun on that as well, because she had to look after them when I went over to Williams's F1 factory, actually with Stumpy. I was like, bad timing, but could you look after them? And I came back and they were in the same room playing. So, hey, we take that. But yeah, I think for Chloe, best thing possible. For Boop, she's now got someone that knows the rules. And that way I know for a fact that she's ignoring them.
So Boop's the kind of cat to talk shit to a German Shepherd.
Boop wouldn't talk shit. I don't think Boop's not mean-spirited.
Okay.
She's just so fearless and so thick that she just doesn't know. She would go up and wouldn't realize that she's annoying the German Shepherds.
Start climbing all over.
She would honestly be like, I want to play. Like, that looks like so much fun.
Fair enough.
And the German Shepherds having none of it.
Well, because you said Boop was more for Chloe, but Chloe was then for you, right? Like, did you find that having a pet around, like, what was the goal? Like, you're just like, huh, I just want to.
I think it was. I always wanted a pet in, especially once I got my own place. And a dog's just not an option. I am definitely more of a dog person. But I'm not exclusive by any stretch. It's like 60-40.
All right. So you're not about to get on Twitter and start, having big arguments.
No. But for where I live, just having a dog in here isn't. You can't have an indoor dog. Getting them out, it's not like I get up at late at night and be able to just open up the door and they can go to the toilet or anything like that.
Yeah.
So cat became the option from there. The timing actually on getting Chloe was a little bit of a blessing in disguise because that was the same week I had discovered that I was not going to be going to the last winter major. I don't like that I have to specify which winter major I ended up missing. But yeah, got Chloe during that week. So that was a lot of fun, actually. That was like a little, I'm going to play with the cat. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely good to have someone. Because I was talking to Lion Blaze as well, who's super busy, and he got a dog as well. And it's just, I think that as much of the extra work the pets are, it's always ends up being like a good thing, like a net positive to the mental, I guess, levity that it brings to your life.
I think there's just, it's nice just to have the immediate, okay, my day started off good. Like I woke up this morning. I don't understand what Boop has started doing recently, but I think she's decided that she's standing guard whenever I sleep.
Okay.
Like Boop's weird. She's very pack mentality, I feel, with everyone in the house.
Gotcha.
Like if I'm doing anything, she will come over and just like, I've got your back.
Whatever we're doing here, I don't know what it is, but I got you.
Yeah. I caught her, I woke up and she was just there, like looking out all over the place. And then as soon as I woke up and like fussed her, she was like, I'm going to sleep now. I've done my job. I'm off duty. So yeah, it's obviously like that nice little mental boom of, yeah, there's something waiting for me. And that thing is hungry. So I've got to get up.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm more of a dog person. And with the house now, it's a little more reasonable. But I just feel like the cats are probably also more conducive to a game, at least the gamer lifestyle I live, of just hours being sporadic. Also, again, when you got live events being out of the house, cats can be alone for a day or two, right? But with dogs,
I think at this point, they were too young previously. I would usually get somebody over to look after them.
Yeah.
But I do agree. At this point, they can, set themselves up some food. They'll be fine for at least a day.
Meanwhile, dogs, you set them out a week's worth of food, they eat that in 1 hour.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly certain Boop would as well, who has disappeared. I do not know where that cat has gone.
Maybe a threat appeared.
She is no longer protecting me.
No, a threat appeared at the front door. She's gone to deal with it. She don't realize that 2 assassins just tried to take you out.
Yeah, I'll find where Boop's keeping them, all of them, at some point. I'll move the couch or something. There'll just be like a whole ocean of bodies over there that Boop's been collecting.
It's like the crazy cat lady where you just find a bunch of dead cats under the couch. It's just a bunch of dead humans because Boop's put them there.
She looks so proud of herself as well.
I did this.
Well done, Boop. Well done.
What was that F1 thing you said, by the way? Because I know you and a couple of the guys are big in F1. I've just never cared about racing much. But what was that F1 thing you went to with Stumpy?
Oh, that was when Williams Resolve were going to announce their team roster.
Gotcha.
Okay. So they messaged a couple of the European lads and be like, "Hey, we want to do this. Can't necessarily pay you for it, but we can." Give you a tour around the factory, as well as, the museum that we've got there, and we'll shoot a couple of content pieces for the announcement. And I was like, yeah, I'm going. Yeah. Of course I'm going to this. That's been sort of like the secret upside of being very obvious with everybody that watches the broadcast. I'm the F1 guy. If you need F1, get your boy.
Come with me.
So come with me.
I always want to walk away with at least one learned thing, and this
Okay.
is this might be it right here, because I didn't realize this when they first joined the scene. I had no idea Williams Resolve had it like that. There's an F1 connection. I didn't know
Oh,
what
right.
that was. Yeah.
I really appreciate how little they rely on it.
Yeah, I had no idea
I think we've
at
got
all.
a few of those now. Like Williams Resolve have definitely created their own identity. I was sticking with the F1 sort of stuff. I think Quadrant as well don't overly rely on Lando
Yeah.
Norris. Like they use the name value as much as you probably should when you've got.
Quadrant I knew because of Lando, and just talking to you guys, I knew Lando was.
Yeah, Williams Resolve. I love the Williams Resolve team, or just the name in general. Like they seem to be doing a lot of really good work.
Yeah.
Around the scene. It seemed like a very positive influence. So I am rooting for them. I felt really bad actually because we got done with that entire thing, and I got into the car with Stumpy, who was going to drive me to the train station. I was like, that was really good fun. Shame they weren't achieving. they actually did. They did really well last split, and it's one of those ones. I'm so happy I'm wrong. I love it when I'm wrong about that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you always want to see success, right? So, but like you're an analyst, so you're going to say, okay, well, based off the data that I have, this isn't going to go well. So
I'm one of those really heavy ones as well. Of like, I follow recent trends more than anything else. So if there's like a name that's either unproven or a name that just really hasn't done much for the last year, I tend to write off a little bit. But I do think that's just sort of the nature of the beast regarding the esport that we have. It's really fast. That I don't think there's any other esport out there that changes as rapidly as ours.
Oh, dude. So, I mean, like you're, especially with smaller rosters, you change again, one or two people. That's a whole new roster now at this point, right? Like you see teams have brand new rosters almost every single year.
Yeah, I think you get that with the roster. You get that with the game stuff as well. Like there is nothing about Rocket League esports that is ever slow. You know, a great example of this is I feel like it's almost impossible to overreact to a single game of Rocket League. Unless it's like 3-0 in a series and then the other team's got one back and it was kind of a blow. It's like, whatever. That's probably the only time. But if you've got a best of 5 minutes of dominant gameplay is 33% of the match.
Yeah.
Like that is huge in anything out there. I just love that we have an esport that it can just change that quickly depending on one thing that we do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely makes it sometimes hard to create long-standing narratives. I mean, because our whole job is to let's tell the stories of either teams or play, whatever it is. It's just a story that needs to be told here.
Yeah.
But then, there are very few long-standing stories you can tell. You know, you got a couple of the larger franchises like NRG, right, or like what's Vitality's overall.
Yeah, you'll
journey.
mostly get to say like the North American orgs, and then you work Europe now with us. You're stuck with us on that one. So what's this team's story? I don't know. They just formed.
they're brand new. Yeah, no, that's the so it can be tough in that regard, but in terms of just moment to moment excitement, you're never gonna get something that's like you could just turn on any series almost, and probably in the next 20 minutes see something very exciting.
You're going to see something really cool, which I think is great. I think the most fun I've had is I'm firstly like a massive Moist Critical fan. So when he first joined, it was a lot of fun seeing that there was a watch party involved in that. And I think the biggest indicator I ever got regarding, because we can echo chamber a little bit. Like, let's be honest. The only people that are going to discuss with us anything regarding our jobs are the people that are pretty hardcore into Rocket League. Yeah. We very rarely get to communicate any casuals. Like, that's just not a link that ever really is provided. Yeah. So I feel like sometimes our perspective on that can go a little skew-if. And then we got the Moist Critical watch party, and it was that moment of remembering this is our average viewer. This is what our average viewer thinks is a goal-scoring opportunity. Yeah. Well, I'm saying it's like, it's nowhere near. Like, come on.
Yeah, they're like, oh! And it's like, that wasn't a shot.
Mate, it's nowhere. Okay, there's a defender. I love when just casual viewers do not quite understand how good goal line defense is in Rocket League.
Yeah. You're like, they're starting to go, oh, and you're like, no, there's 2 defenders there. Both have full boost.
His name is Vatira. It's fine.
Right. He's about to boom it down. Actually, this might be a goal on the other side. Based off the positioning of the opponents right now, they're a little too pushed up, right? You're like, I know it's going the other way, but they think it might go in there. Yeah, it's interesting. It's actually something I always tried to keep in mind at the beginning when it came to, it was very early on of like, even on like season 1, 2, 3, where it's like, okay, every once in a while we'd explain a mechanic, right? Oh, by the way,
I think it's really important on day one of a tournament.
Yeah,
I think that's. I think the tournament that I've seen that I love the most for this, and I think you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here, is Evo.
Okay, yeah.
Because Evo, and I really want to push for us to do this as well. They will just put terminology on the ticker at the bottom. You say you're watching Marvel, it'll be like, oh, X Factor is this. If I say X Factor to anybody and they're not used to watching Marvel versus Capcom, they ain't got a clue what I'm talking about. Like the singing show, what's that?
Yeah.
So I think just the slow build up of knowledge that Evo commentators tend to go for throughout the weekend is like the perfect one. Yeah. And I think we could definitely do with remembering to do that. I want like to build people up, and then on the final day, it's like, all right, we taught you this. Let's go. Let all of it out now. We're just going to go for it. You know exactly what we're talking about.
I also wonder about that. So with the two things on this, one is with the Evo thing. Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time too. Like I remember I was at Evo 2015. Was it Evo? Yeah, it was Evo. Yeah, I was at Evo 2015, and even then, yeah, they had the tickers up. And ever since then, I've been wanting to get that in RLCS. It's
all right,
tough,
we'll start the document tonight, Leif. We're on it.
But yeah, having something pop in, stats, someone gets a flip reset, or the commentators are talking about something, and someone can just press a button. Hey, look, this is this terminology. You know, this is a.
That would actually be really cool. Like, yeah, if we see like the first one of the tournament,
yeah, and it's just
like the first flip reset goal or something, and just like a little ticker at the bottom, comes up and just says flip reset, you know, etc., etc. Rather, because I also understand for viewers hearing us constantly say, "Oh, this it would get pretty boring." Yeah,
we'd have to, if we were to do it vocally, we would have to come up with a pre-written sentence that we all agree on that summarizes what it is very quickly, so that it can just be thrown out there. And then moved onwards, right? That they can recite verbatim. But no, I've seen it, and I think it's wonderful, and I don't think it is too preachy either to have those things, because again, there's always going to be someone, and that's why
the only people that care are the people that don't remember, like that. Not everyone's as smart as them when it comes to what they're watching.
That's a very kind way of saying no lifing this the esport.
They're
not as smart as you guys.
I get that perspective as well, because whenever I used to like write coursework or anything like that, I would always you were supposed to write it as if you're talking to an alien. You know, they'd never encountered this whatsoever. I could never get myself into that mindset for the longest time, because I'm like, I'm writing this for somebody that's reading this that taught me this.
Yeah.
So why do I have to state the obvious here? They know. They just know. Yeah. It's like, no, that's not how this works.
Part of it is I think those exercises to make you also make sure you understand the process of it, right? Yeah. You're not just repeating a formula without understanding why the formula is the way it is, right? The other thing I question then is, because you say just do it on day one, but we get higher viewerships on championship Sundays.
As I was saying it, I was like, I really hope Leif doesn't remember that.
No, I'm calling. I wonder if
you're absolutely 100% right.
Day. You know?
Yeah, I think you're right. So I think definitely I would say you can just do both. How to do it on the final day is a little bit more difficult, because you just have a lot of pageantry around it.
A lot of that's where the stories come out. That's all. I mean, you hear Stacks, right? That's it. That is what it's about.
Yeah, trust me, we all hear Stacks. That is a booming voice.
Yeah, that was the one of when he did the phrase that Shanapi said. That was one of the most epic intros I have ever seen in my life, to be honest. That was
I love the intros that they did for the last Winter Major. I was so keen on all of those. I thought they were really cool. I love the dimming of the lights on everywhere. I love the music that they had going into it. Like that, to me, let's just do that. Let's never tinker with that. You don't need to. When you get an intro like that, that's just perfect. You don't mess around with it anymore. You don't need to be cute. Just the only thing that should change is Stacks, you know, with a different lead up each time. That's about it.
And he's been doing such a fantastic job with his intros too. Even hitting like day like the weekend when the audience was there, more so day 3 and 4. Wavepunk's throws to the games were phenomenal as well. Like you can tell he was sitting down getting stuff written out, and if you do that off the top of the head, holy crap! But it's like that. Those were phenomenal too. So yeah, just having those stories pushed with an epic soundtrack behind it is something else to make you feel something, right? I mean, we're all there to celebrate it. So if you're feeling something, that's what it's about. By the way, side note, I found out. So that song, by the way, that they use is by Going Quantum. I messaged you. I never will forget that name because that guy was actually in my computer programming class in college.
Okay.
And I remember him. Yeah, John. I remember him saying, "Hey, I'm going to like Toronto to do some stuff. Here, check out. Here's my SoundCloud." And I started listening to some of the stuff. And then it turns out I didn't know this. Turns out he went and helped found Monster Cat. So,
yeah. Okay, yeah. That's some success for you, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, that was so. And then it turns out Afixa, another big EDM artist, was also at my Conestoga, my school. So I'm like, what is my city pumping out right now?
Yeah, I mean, you're sorted. You've got all the connections, I guess.
It was just really cool to see like all the people that were around me in this programming class that I'm pretty sure all eventually dropped out find success in the end.
Yeah, I love that song, and I love the winners, the Coven, I think it's called.
Coven is an artist, yeah.
Yeah. The song that plays whenever we have like a tournament winner. I love that song so much. Yeah, I was hoping you were going to do it rather than me.
That is a great emotional, like triumphant song.
I love that. I don't want to get rid of it ever since the Rise Joy of a Tira thing happened, where it was like perfectly in sync, which I want to point out, the people in the venue, they can't hear that well. Like, that is sheer coincidence that was that well timed.
Oh, really?
If anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, end of London Major, the crowd started doing the Rise Joy over Tira. It was perfectly in time with the beats of it. So it was like, the Rise Joy over Tira.
Maybe it's a subconscious thing.
They would never have been able to hear it. Like, there's no shot the crowd would have been able to hear it and then time it in that way. And I know they hadn't timed it because they started doing it and it was offbeat, and then there was like a beat switch as they get towards the end of the first bit of the song, and that's when it synced up. So it was just a sheer act of God that one was that good.
To be honest, I feel like that's the story of Rocket League. Like, we just keep getting
keeps getting, it's just like, you always worry. Like, every single time we go to one of these events, it's just like, oh, it might not be that great. And then
something happens.
No, it worked out just fine. I feel like, last season we could have had so many more, man. The amount of tournaments that we had that had like second series afterwards, I feel like we could have had a lot more like big moments, because I think the only grand finals that didn't necessarily deliver was the Worlds one. But you look at what could have been for the others. I think the first one, it's Sweden. That one went to Game 7 between NRG BDS. I think I might have my memory all wrong on that one.
Again, I ain't no Gibbs here. I remember stuff if I see it again, but then I'm like trying to recall.
But the one that stands out to me is like, that would have been a legendary moment if this was one series, was the G2 whoopsie daisy where they just didn't go for the ball and they got reset by Queso. Like, that was a big moment. Doesn't matter as much because we had a second series afterwards, and this just ended. We had a lot of stomps, actually. We always had like a big ending to the first series and then a stomp in the second one. Like, even with Falcons Moist, like that happened. It was I think Game 7 actually in the first series, and then 4-0 after that.
Yeah, I mean, the inevitabilities you're gonna get. Like, I always think back to season 4 grand finals, right?
Season 4. Oh no, I had to cast that.
Method Guild Force, right?
Yeah, that was a 4-0 as well.
And it's like,
I think the only reset we've had that was actually good in terms of quality series was season 5. I don't think we've had a reset finals that was amazing. Was the finals actually good though, or was it just historic? I don't remember necessarily.
But I guess arguably that does make it good, right? I mean, C9's run was unprecedented, and the fact that they were like, it was good gameplay from C9, right? Like, they were styling on them.
Yeah, so, I think it's definitely enough. So I'll give you 1.5. How about that?
Okay.
We got season 5 and season 6.
Yeah, I think as long as you make it look fun. Like, here, I don't care if Vatira just absolutely poo-poos on their opponent, but as long as he makes it look sick, right? Like, if we're getting...
that was my feeling about the FaZe KC one. Is like, it was... I feel like it was always KC's to go for.
Yeah.
But the fact that Mist was just playing like that to keep them in it was incredible. And you've always got that bit in the back of your mind of like, if this whole team switches on and Mist has held this series, like, that's incredible. Mist gets them to at least game 6, and then it helps out, and then they get game 7. So I love that, and I just love how it's all done in an hour.
Yeah,
just
right?
It.
Well, how do you feel? Because I've always wanted this. I always feel like condensing the final championship day down into more of a because it's the grand final is already so quick, but condensing it down into just being that, like, I would ultimately love the final day, championship Sunday, to just be 2 teams, maybe top 4, but like I want to be able to focus in, and then in between, maybe players would hate this too, but like in between every game you have a longer breakdown, or
I think you'd have to do a longer break on that one.
But make a 2 to 3 hour event around the grand finals, a lead up.
I mean, you'd have an hour going into it, and then probably an hour going into it, hour of match, hour coming out of, like, you know, post celebration, and then analysis and stuff like that. I mean, you can definitely, I mean, just watch any sports thing.
Yeah. Because you can do spotlights on each player in that time, and like break down why they're so good, what are they doing, what's their story.
I think everyone that sort of asked for this has always said, like, oh, doing a best of set. I will do anything to never cast another best of set for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I'm not saying best of set. It's just make it a best of 7.
Massively not a fan.
Or best of 9. But
I'd be fine with best of 9.
Best of 9, and that's it. 2 teams, grand finals, championship Sunday.
Just no second series. I never want to see a second series in my finals. Like,
it's tough.
No, it doesn't work. I feel like
I'm glad we tried it, though.
I'm glad we tried it.
I think we have to.
I think season 5 meant that we tried it for a lot longer. Because everyone's like, oh, we can recreate that, and just that's lightning in a bottle sort of situation.
You don't want to force it, but you still want to see if you can create the conditions that are conducive to that kind of stuff, right? So I mean, that's what the last few years of RLCS have been, right? It's been testing stuff out, see what works, what doesn't work. I think that's
Season X was a lot of that. Season X was a long season. Let's be honest, that was a lot of work.
Yeah, and to think about the players too, the amount of games being played compared to what they used to.
I actually don't feel as sorry for the players on that one. I think we had it worse because we across all of us on the talent thing, I think we were doing like 6-day weeks on that one. If you were doing grid as well as RLCS, like, and I wasn't even working North America. Like, I think people had even more than me on that. But I think it was like 6-day weeks if you're doing grid and RLCS. The players got a break during that period that I don't think we necessarily did because we couldn't do a major properly. We ended up doing all the majors separately.
Yes.
So we would get, all right, we're done with the last European regional. Let's do the first major, which we're doing OCE. Okay.
Yeah, I remember
OCE is now done for a month.
In the morning.
Now we're doing South America. You know, it was a whole month of us going on with that, at which point the off season's over and we're just going straight back in. Like, there was no 2 or 3 week break at any point for us. I do. This is not me saying the players did not have a lot to do there. They absolutely did.
Now, quote it, clip it and ship it. Clip it and ship it. Shogun talks down on players' workload. It's too
players
easy
do
for
nothing. There we are. That's a big target. Right, we've got Germans, we've got farmers, and now Rocket League players. Is there any other demographic that we can get after?
Yeah. Maybe we'll get there. You know, it just
we'll figure that one out.
We talk long enough, we'll target someone.
Yeah, definitely.
So I know this is. Here's the thing. We got to Rocket League talk eventually here, but I want the one thing I want, and I'm sure you've probably done this on your own streams before and talked about it, but the phrase that shall not be named.
I actually haven't talked about this much on stream.
Okay. And if you don't want to tell me to frick off. But I think it's intriguing that we have. So this is Rocket League. Obviously, is the phrase for Rocket League. Like that encapsulates the esport, right? And in the moment, to anyone watching, it's the greatest call ever made. It was so perfect. We all felt it, and it was vocalized by you. But afterwards, you're like, I hated that call.
Well, I have my reasons.
Yeah, what's been your journey with that phrase in general? Because I feel like you've gone back and forth on it.
So no, I'm fully on the case now of like I like it.
Yeah.
The reason there was a big reason, there was a psychological reason why I really hated it for a little while, and it had nothing to do with the call itself.
Okay.
The reason being behind it all is that I went in and that felt like a peak moment in terms of went out, did season 5, came home, got to do the first event where I like knew everybody there. You know, my parents are over in London. You know, they got to see me do my job. There was even like a moment where obviously you've been at Copperbox, like some of the stairs going to the upstairs area. They're very up. Me and Shomom like just tucked around the corner there and just like had a cry to hug. I was like, oh, this is great.
That's awesome.
You know, this is like amazing.
Yep.
Between that and like the call itself, and then you're finding out, oh, everyone loves this. Everyone loves this. And then I wasn't back for season 6, and that the visa issues here and. All right, what can I do in this period of time? Because I now can't do my dream job. It's just not on the table for me. It's now out of my hands. I'm sort of waiting on, hopefully, the cards to fall correctly for me, and I can get back over and start doing that.
So you felt you peaked and were done. Like, or at least it was in your head.
Kind of like that. I've never enjoyed the idea of I can't top something. You know, I always want to just go next. You know, that was great, fantastic. Let's go next. But between getting that done and then not being able to come back, and then I'm obviously I'm not well off amazingly at the time. I still need to be making money, so I'm on the stream thing. I'm playing, so that means every single game I'm playing, every single stream I'm doing, my chat is just, this is Rocket League, this is Rocket League, this is Rocket League. And it's just that constant reminder, you're not doing that. You're away, and and there was a lot of frustration at that period of time of how long that was taking. I mean, I probably still wouldn't have been back. I think I probably would have been out of the scene by now, because realistically, the only reason why me and the whole European crew came on was because COVID hit and we moved online. So it became, for the longest time for me, like an indication of that was where it ended.
Wow.
That was the end of the career. You peaked and now you're done.
Oh, that's terrifying, dude.
So that's the reason why I kind of ended up despising it in a bit of a way, because it was just a constant reminder of what I was not doing anymore.
It's so interesting because and this is why I had to ask, because if you look at it and just hear Shogun doesn't like the phrase, it could just be like, oh, that's just Shogun being Shogun. He doesn't want. He's like, it could be. It was just me saying this is Rocket League, But there was so much more of a devastating mental to it behind it for you that caused that. And it's interesting how people can attach these moments to these phrases based off a journey you don't know they're even going through.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting, it's not on anybody to think about that, I don't feel.
Of course, yeah.
That's just what it was to me. I feel like there's most people I interact with would be like, yeah, it's Rocket League, yeah. That was it. Like, I don't really have I'm sorry, I'm not very good at faking emotional like excitement or anything like that. So, it's like, yeah, that I said that, didn't I? It's about really all there is. But obviously my opinion's kind of changed now. Of I have the job back in there. I'm getting to see, for example, we did the Lando Norris thing, and like they do the whole advertising thing, and at the very end it just says this is Rocket League. And I did the bit over in Fort Worth where they just have me running around screaming at people, which was great fun. Apart from the part where Ian was like, oh, we're going to do this, but you just go outside in 40 degrees in a full suit. Mate, I am incredibly English. I can't deal with that kind of heat. My body is not regulated.
Yeah, you're not acclimatized to that.
But no, nowadays, I love it. I really appreciate being like the tagline for the entire esport, but not even selfish. I feel like it would be harsh on me to say selfishly. I needed to be there. Yeah. It felt unfair for the longest time of everyone. This is being used for everything, and I'm not there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think anybody that
I think you definitely know because you've been there.
Yeah,
You've been for the exact same thing.
I've been in moments where I haven't been a part of something. And I'm like, this is so huge to me in my life that to not be able to be a part of it. I mean, my first time happening was season 4. I still went, but as a spectator, right? Because I'm like, I need to be there. I love this thing so much. So not be there, and then on your part to add on to it, the fact that you've impacted the discourse of this esports so much that you see your influence continue. Even if you were to not do it ever again, your influence is forever impacted on the esport, and then to not be there could be terrible. But there has to be some sort of sense of like pride, or at least like amazement of like, wow, holy crap, how did I impact this like this?
The sort of story on that one I will always maintain is just like me and Carper were the idiots with the headsets on. Like I was more focused after that cast was done because I'd utterly bottled the season 4 call of KDOP wins. My goodness, that one did not go. Yeah, that one didn't go very well. I just got like it was a mix up in my head of KDOP scores Gale Force wins.
Yeah.
And I ended up just mixing the two sentences.
It's inevitability.
Okay. They're never giving me another grand finals. Oh, the next one's in London. Awesome. I guess I'm doing that. Redemption arc. But no, that one was full. I was more worried about the final call. You know, the turbo. And that one going. I heard that. I was like, yay, okay, cool. I didn't utterly bottle it this time around. And it was only the next day. And I blame Gfinity for this because they added me in a quick edit that was just. This is Sparta, that sort of thing. So I saw that one, and then someone edited in like, this is pod racing. So that I was all right. This is just getting out of hand now.
That's amazing.
I tell you the big thing actually on all that I do really appreciate is that I don't have to do it again.
You got it out there.
As somebody that, as I mentioned previously, is always like go next. The fact that I know I won't be able to top that. Like that's just there now. That
almost gives you a sense of relief, right?
It's the joy of, let's say I'm like working with Johnny in a finals. I've heard so many times in esports of people trying to get that last word in, trying to be the big call, and I don't need that. I don't. You know, there was always gonna be that subconscious part of my brain that's just like, oh, like try and make you moment, try and make you moment, try and make you moment.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's just kind of done it. You know, I can now focus on the important bit, which is doing my job correctly, rather than how am I going to get remembered. And it's a huge weight off my shoulders. If I'm being, completely candid about it. I mean, it's lovely. Hey, Boop.
Oh, there we go.
Here. Hey, you beautiful.
Here's Boop.
You want a kiss?
Oh, it's getting so big now.
Oh, no, she doesn't want a kiss.
That's a cat now.
That is a cat now. That is a big cat now. Her head's still tiny. She has a very tiny head. There we go. How you doing this, sweetie? Sorry, there's no real space up here for you, darling, so I'm going to have to put you back there. You're done. You're waking up. Probably because her sister's not awake.
Once again, downfall to all Spotify listeners right now. They just missed out on.
You know what? That's the next group. Never respected the podcast listeners.
We're up to four on our hit list now.
I wonder how many. I'm waiting for the person that's like all 4 categories at the moment.
That's what you. Oh my god! What a demographic. There's like 3 people.
What a demographic. What was it? So wait, we got farmers.
We'd have German farmers listening on Spotify and play professional Rocket League.
All right, that's a short list. Okay. We got baby Calix. Maybe Calix has got a farm.
Freaky, what were you up to?
Freaky? Oh no, T Gray recently announced retirement. That doesn't work.
Pashy?
Maybe to go off be a farmer.
What happened to Pashy? Pashy farming now?
Pashy would work really well on a farm. Like that could work.
He's got the build for it. That's for sure.
Look at this. Look what you're missing out, Spotify. Oh, sorry, you can't look at what you're missing out on Spotify users.
What is that? I think they just could be in. What animal is that? Guess the animal.
Yep. The beast. A beast. She's off to go and wake her sister up. Okay, that's a fight waiting to happen. They're going to be all. Boob likes to use me as a shield as well, so that's not going to work out very well.
A technical difficulties thing pop up while we deal with the chaos.
They have cut my audio so many times.
Have they?
I don't know if this is going to come. I'm not going to try actually because it will just sound really awkward. I have a sample on here of when Chloe used to just keep lying on my sampler on my Go XLR, and it was just like me asking her what she was up to. And I refuse to delete that. That is staying there forever.
Oh, speaking of, I still want to do this. Screw it. Maybe I'm just going to organize this. Because we've talked about this before as a group, but doing an entire cast with pre-recorded calls that we put onto our stream deck and just press buttons and try to cast with each other.
I want that.
Pre-recorded.
But if we have to pre-record it, our co-caster has to write the lines that we say.
Oh, okay. Maybe we dedicate. Okay, everybody gets 5 to 10 lines, and then throughout this next series, like we'll just do a best of 3, so it doesn't. Because if it goes too long, you're going to reuse lines, and it'll stop being funny. But yeah, I was
imagining Johnny writing, "Oh boy, that was really Rocket League." Johnny, no.
Okay, you know what? Again, comments below if you want to see this, you let us know right now, because I want to put.
This is right up there with that pre-show segment that we had where we had to defend opinions that we don't really have.
Yeah.
Johnny was like, I hate Mina. I really just don't respect Mina.
We could even do it where you record your own lines. We do a series like that, but then we have the bonus round where someone else wrote your lines for you, and you have to only use those. Yeah, because then
that would be good.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna try it.
Right, lock it in.
I'm gonna organize this. That's gonna be great. I probably just put it up on this channel too, to be honest. So you guys are already in the right place. I had one more thing back on the casting, but you know what? It's honestly gone at this point. But I do want to ask, in terms of just because you said the relief is gone now for you to, you've had a great moment that you're super proud of. You're like, cool, this is great. Now I can focus on this. But obviously, you know, in the general consensus is that you and Johnny are the best caster duo. I think everybody has value, but like, you know, the general community says that you've got a lot of support behind you.
You know, I'm not going to accept the compliment, but yeah.
No, but my question really more so is there a pressure to hearing that from so many people, and an expectation that maybe you have to put like, well, how do you deal with that? Because obviously all of our guys are great people. We're all we all critique ourselves. We're all no one's an arrogant jerk. Maybe Gibbs, but
definitely Gibbs.
But so how do you deal with like just people with those?
I don't think I ever have.
Really?
I really don't think I ever have. I don't think I've necessarily. It's something I've not even thought about really until you mentioned it right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Now you're going to think about it all night.
I was trying to think back to the Worlds and like how I felt going into that one. I think for the most part, it's really helped out by having a crowd. Because once you have a crowd and our audio is getting piped out, I am playing to the crowd. Yeah. I honestly usually forget that we have a stream going.
Everything goes out the window.
Because that's just not the audience at the time. And I know if I'm going into like a game 7 or something like that, and I can get the local crowd hyped, that's job well done. You know, that's so. I don't know. I don't think about it. I just sort of enjoy the moment. And I don't think I've ever really been able to do anything outside of that. And I just sort of let the moments take me and just see where we end up. I get very lucky with some of the series that I get to cast. So that gets a little bit easier when you sort of just ride it away.
Good games, right?
I mean, Rocket League is a very easy esport to cast when the match is good.
Yeah.
Like, it's just very, very easy to follow and match the energy that the crowd is giving. When the series is bad... no fun. Really no fun to get the right tone on that, because especially if it's like a finals.
That's why I think Corelli is the best caster.
Is the hardest thing on the planet to cast.
Corelli's the best caster because of the matches he's had to deal with in earlier seasons. If you can get through some of the stuff he's had to cast, you're golden. But yeah, if you have a good match, it's easy to just be in there. I mean, that's part of what I think why a lot of us do it is just like we're just excited about the thing we're watching. So being able to vocalize that and be in that moment is huge. So the fact that, I mean, that's really what there's a lot of technical stuff. Like all of our casters have grown and are so good now, but like, it still really is about just being in that moment.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like there's no, I think that it depends on the person in terms of how much they like to prep. I know some of our Cole likes to just write out mountains and mountains of stuff, and that works for him. I usually have intro, a couple of bullet points, and outro. Intro, 3 main storyline things, because I'm going to get through those 3 main storylines in the first game. I need to set the groundwork for them. By the time we're in game 3 or 4, there's probably some in-game storylines that have started to develop that I now want to start chasing.
This player is doing good, yeah.
Yeah, and I usually won't wrap back around to storylines until we hit like a game 7, at which point you want to remind the audience, this is why this is important to this player. This is not just a game 7. Like, this is what it means to him, because we don't know if he's going to get this chance again. There's so many players that get that one overtime goal go against them and never get to reach that spot ever again. And I think it's so important to communicate that. And that's the reason why I find play-by-play in those big moments is so easy, because it's pretty much all done for you. You just have to vocalize it.
Yep. So you're telling me that there's a structure to how you end up going through games? You're not just an idiot out there yelling stuff?
No, I'm definitely an idiot out there yelling stuff.
As can be told by your final calls. This is Rocket League.
Like Buzz Lightyear.
What are those?
I feel like Buzz Lightyear. I'm just falling with style, man. Like, nobody's realized it yet.
That is phenomenal. Well, I want to. We have a lot of Rocket League talk. It's time to kill the retention of this video and talk about something. Get off.
We've given you the video title now. Shogun talks about this is Rocket League. Now let's move on.
We got the social media clip. Where
let's go.
I want to just ask about your stream and your own community offset, because I feel like you've done a good job of, and I feel like it was a focus to make sure that when you're streaming, you get to do what you want to do, right? You don't feel stuck to having to just do Rocket League content outside of it. And that's such a hard struggle, I think, for anyone to pull off. I mean, especially when your Twitter is primarily Rocket League followers, so promoting what your content there is hard.
Dead, man. My Twitter's totally dead.
And it's hard to move that audience. But you've been doing a lot of good variety streaming. Like, you've managed, in my opinion, to do a very good job of making your stream be the content you want to make. Was there any struggles in getting that rolling, and instead of having people like, where's the Rocket League content? Where's the Rocket League content?
I will say there's probably 2 separate sides to my job right now, because legitimately the people that watch my content or interact with my content don't really interact with Rocket League all that much. There's actually been a larger push towards it over the last few weeks. I feel like everyone's caught the itch again. I want to jump back in and start playing. So that's been fun, because I've been jumping in on that as well. Which has been an awful lot of fun. Just reminds myself just how bad I am at this game. Wow, it's everyone's way beyond.
If you want to feel good about yourself, team up with me.
No, I think you've actually gone. You beat me in ones last time we played. Like,
oh yeah.
So I'm gone, mate. I'm utterly gone. I peaked. But I think there's very little crossover there, and I will say my comfort with doing just sort of what I feel like I can mostly comes down to how well Sonics have treated us. I feel comfortable to not have to overdo the Rocket League side. Gotcha. I burn out quick.
Yeah.
I'm very, very fast on the flame. And if I streamed Rocket League, talked Rocket League, and then jumped in and did RLCS, I can't do that. As I previously mentioned, I'm very emotions on my sleeve. I suck at hiding it. I really do. As much as people might want to think otherwise, like, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I think it's important to have stuff to do. I mean, the stream stuff's not popping off. It's not massive. It might one day be. That would be nice. That would be fun.
Well,
but
I mean,
for the most part,
what's your average? It's well above mine. Your average viewership.
I think my average viewership is about 20 at the moment. I've never really settled to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
BGP though does pretty well, but that's a mess. That's an utter mess. The Banter Grand Prix. That's our F1 league.
Okay.
That's bad. It's so bad. Yeah. We do not moderate that in the slightest. It's just get in, race. If the game tells you got a penalty, sucks to be you. Like, there is nothing. There's no stewarding going on that at all. But we also throw everybody into the VC.
Oh,
so
God.
If you get hit, you're telling the person about it.
That's chaos.
So that's a lot of fun. But I think it's just important to have things on the outside. It was sort of a mixture between, I don't want to do more Rocket League stuff on top of doing Rocket League stuff, but I need some structure. I need something that feels like a job in a bit of a way, because we have a lot of downtime with our actual job.
Yeah.
And I can fill it up with practice. I can fill it up with analysis. And that still isn't going to take up much of my time.
Yeah.
So it needs to be something else going on.
Yeah, it's tough because, again, the only thing that really I find it so easy to sleep in the morning. It is, unless I have to get up for something, I'll always get up for it. But like if I'm like, oh, well, tomorrow, maybe I'll edit a YouTube video. It's like, I probably won't, right? It's so I had to start just I started writing down so many ideas and scripts. I have like probably 8 to 10 scripts for different various videos. I made 3 YouTube channels now because I needed, when I'm like, okay, I want to make a video for this channel, I make it. And then I'm like, well, now I don't want to make another video for that channel for a while. Ooh, but I have an idea for this one. Right. And so I think that was the only way I could keep myself a bit structured, is just embracing the ADHD and allowing so many projects to be on the go at once.
I mean, we were speaking before I jumped on today. I've watched like pretty much all of I've definitely watched all the casters ones regarding this, because I think you're very good at just sort of being personable with people. It's the reason why you're so good at the interviews at the actual events. I think that's really one of your absolute strengths. You know, I think there's who was it? There was a guy. Oh yeah, it was Doug. I don't know if that name necessarily rings a bell.
Sorry, Dick Doug?
Doug.
Oh, Doug.
Yeah, I don't know if that name rings a bell at all.
Doug.
But he's a content creator right now that does like a lot of like wacky stuff. It's just like the Twitch chat versus another person's Twitch chat sort of thing, and GTA, etc., etc. But the thing that he put that I think really stuck with me in one of his videos, he was like doing a how to become a content creator sort of thing. He was adamant that everybody has got 2 skills that they just get. You know how you can work at things and get better at something, and then somebody will do it and they're just like, good. And you're like, what is going on here? And then those people can work on that, and then it's ridiculous. I think yours is just a natural ability. One of yours. I don't know what the second one is.
I don't either.
but the first one is definitely just talking and relaxing people and easing people into flowing conversation.
Interesting. I wonder what it is.
Interviewing.
Now I'm stressed out that
I have no idea what the second one is, mate. I have no idea what my second one is.
I
have no idea what my first one is. People seem to be convinced I've got one of them, but I'm not too sure.
It's really it's tough. It's also tough to self-reflect, because I bet you we could sit down and find out more than 2 skills of yours. I don't know. I think you're an extremely talented person. Your position in this esport clearly indicates so. See
how we did this? I complimented him. He turned the interview back into complimenting me. Pro. He's an absolute pro.
But I think it's interesting because just in the group in general, yourself included, is that I mentioned this before. We have a good, in my opinion, being a public-facing figure, there's a little bit of arrogance you have to have, I guess, or ego you have to have. But in general, we have a very good, humble group of people. So it gets very difficult then to reflect on yourself and compliment yourself. And then find what that skill is and then dive into that skill. If you can't even look at yourself and praise yourself to begin with, how do you start working on that skill?
I mean, you said it for us, but imagine what it's like for, say, a bubble caster. You know, I think there's a lot of casters out there that are trying to learn their craft, and they try and focus too much on how to fix all of their negative sides, which absolutely, go ahead and do. Obviously, everyone's going to start off pretty rough. But you get to a point where there's been so many casters I listen to, it's just like, wow, you're just Johnny Generic at this point. There's nothing, there wasn't that moment where they just went, oh, here's the bit I do really well. I'm going to prime in on this and make sure I really hone that part and, find a use for it. I think Stacks is a fantastic example of, cleaning up a couple of things. He never had anything massive to clean up, but at the same time, everyone always said he's got the announcer voice. He's got the announcer voice. He's got the announcer voice. And he didn't neglect that. It wasn't just, oh, that can just stay a strength. It was, all right, how do we now develop that into what I can do on top of?
Yeah, it's sometimes I started to have to realize too that you have to sometimes look at yourself from an outside perspective objectively and say, okay, what really am I good at? And then then hone into it. And again, I have so many interview like again, one of my first casting role models was Chris Puckett. Developed my casting style after him, and then like my YouTube videos when I first started. Hey guys, LiefX here. Today we're talking.
Oh, right? I hope you never scripted yourself. You are not a script guy.
No, I didn't. I do now for when I'm doing VO stuff. But most of it's just
we've given up on giving me scripts for VO stuff. Sonics, whenever they want me to do a voiceover to one of their things, they just send me like bullet points now.
Okay, cover these things. Yeah. What was I saying again? Oh yeah. So the same thing. I have some. I'll watch interviews. And just I'm like, wow, these guys. This is such a good interview. They're such a good host. And I think I'm the farthest. I'm so far from that. But I still have to look down and say, okay, well, I did receive praise for the interviews and stuff. But then I get this fear of, well, I don't want to study myself and then be thinking too much about it, right?
No, I think for you especially, that wouldn't work, because I think part of it is like, I'm looking for the right words here in terms of like your lack of preparedness. I think is an absolute strength. I'm just gonna go straight with it. Fair, because if I was a player, let's say I'm someone that's like less inclined to want to talk all the time, and I'm coming up and I'm about to start talking with someone who I can clearly tell they want to hit this, and this. I'm like, okay, am I going to say like the right things that he can get onto what he wants to talk about?
I gotcha.
Whilst with you, I feel like as a player or somebody, I'm going in just as unprepared as you are, and we're getting through it together, mate. We'll figure this one out. Like we'll get there. And obviously that is not the case. I know for you, you'll have like a couple of things in mind.
Yeah, all things I want to talk about, but I'll only go there.
It won't come across to me like I need to get you there in a certain way. You'll just manage it, and it's fine. And I think that is the main strength of disarming in a bit of a way, because it doesn't feel like there's a massive structure there. It's just, we'll talk about it. I might have something I want to talk about, but hey, if we don't want to talk about your overtime goal, we can talk about your haircut instead, then absolutely, we're going to head that way.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from top of hair. Mine is disastrous.
I'm not talking. I told you I was letting my hair down today.
Yeah, you're are you going to grow? Have you ever thought?
I have no idea what I'm doing with mine.
Have you ever thought about growing full? Because I tried the shag one time, and it got to about here, and it was like, it's that greasy, curly mess that does not, and I'm like, nope, get it out.
No, I don't think I could necessarily. I couldn't get away with like the front swish. I gotta figure out what I'm doing mine. I'm not too sure. Maybe I haven't figured out my worlds. Who knows? Oh no, not Mohawk. Definitely not Mohawk. I don't know, maybe because I have like little clumps of my hair on the side of my head that like just do not agree. Like let's say I do like a swish over like that. Okay. There'll be one bit of hair here that will just be like that the entire time.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I might grow it out like a bit more, and then just like the sides off, go back. I don't know. I'll figure it out later on.
All right. Well, we have more things that we need you to type in the comments, and it's hairstyle suggestions for Shogun.
Yep. Be sure to type hairstyles for round head.
You know what? I
never Googled that before. Actually.
He's doing it right now. If there's something.
No. They've gone for round faces. No. I want a round head.
Hairstyle.
It's just the haircut I went for. Okay, well, whatever, man.
It's for a round head. Yeah, no, it's just rounds.
It's just round. That's just a head, mate.
Yeah.
You haven't got. These are not fully committed to the round head lifestyle.
That's really fun. So there's one other thing I want to get. I'm gonna let you bounce after this right now, because I'm pretty sure your drink's been empty for a while, and I don't want to hold you away.
I have like the froth. Actually, there's a bit left. There we go. All right. Cheers.
Cheers, Funnels. I'm out of coffee.
Enjoy a cold coffee there, mate. Or have you got like one of those heating things on the desk?
Oh, wait. What? Oh, well, I mean, I just do. Yeah, I just do individual cups. I do pour over. Yeah,
okay.
like I get it locally roasted just down the street, and then I grind
genuinely
it at
thought
home.
you were going to turn around to me and just go, "Nah, just drink it when it's hot."
No, I actually. So here's the thing: if you get a good coffee bean, it's almost better cold, because when it's too hot, your tongue isn't very good at getting flavor out of anything. Letting stuff cool down a bit you're gonna get a lot more flavor out of. I mean, it's that you've tried. I'm sure you've. I don't know if this is just a dude thing, but we like to eat things straight out of the oven when it's piping hot, like
yeah, it's been pretty much immediately out of my air fryer.
But you don't get flavor, but you're like, I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat this. Letting it cool down, you get a lot more flavor out of it. I need you to give me tips right now, though, about things you've learned and haven't learned. Because again, my stream, I try to do variety, but I find I get a lot more people watching when I do Rocket League, but I don't always want to do it. Are there any tips you would give to people, or things maybe you've learned that maybe isn't a tip, but things that you've gone through and adjusted to for trying to build a community that is conducive to allowing variety games? So just is there for you, to watch whatever you get up to. What tips would you, or things you've learned, would you put out there to me and everyone else? Because I need it.
I think the first thing I would do is actually stream Rocket League at the very start.
Okay.
Because you're gonna build up the audience there, and you're gonna lose like 85% of it when you switch over, but you are gonna have 15% there, and those are gonna be people that stick with you throughout the time once you're done with that. So I think there's nothing wrong with throwing some Rocket League streams in there, and then play whatever you want on any other day. And yes, you are gonna get people in there. They're just like, why not stream Rocket League? Why not stream Rocket League? That's just part of parcel, really. Yeah. In fact, I might throw some more Rocket League streams into my thing now that I'm back playing and all the rest of it. I think as well, like for me, I find that I only stream games I really want to play now.
Okay.
Like streaming to me is now the substitute to playing games in my own spare time.
Okay.
That's sort of the way I gone about it, because I can't convince myself to ever. I'm incapable of sitting down and just playing a video game.
No,
that's just not going to happen. You might get 30 minutes out of me, and I'm like, I've got to go and do something else.
Is that because you feel like you're not being productive because you're not streaming it, or?
I think it's just lack of feeling productive. I could be doing anything else right now, So if I'm streaming it, now it's productive because now I'm working. Yeah. So people say don't make games your work. Absolutely make games your work. Now you're working. Yeah. I mean, those are my longest streams are playing just playing variety games. I think I got like 3 10-hour streams out of me in a row playing through Dark Souls 1. Oh wow. Which, by the way, Cronovi had to give me 5 subs on, because on the first stream he jumped in, I was using like the starting halberd, which was useless.
Okay.
He was like, "Oh, I bet you can't beat the whole game of it." I was like, "All right, well, I guess this is a challenge run now."
Did you do?
So I got there. It was a nightmare.
You did it for 5 subs.
I did it to prove Crow wrong.
Okay, I was going to say you are cheap. That is a terrible thing to put yourself through for 5 subs. But
no, because I said I could do it, and then I had to.
I'll give you that one. The pride aspect.
Yeah, I think it's more consistency than anything else. I think going consistent timing, and I'm saying this, and this is a do as I say, not as I do, because I don't hold my own timings. I'm useless at that. But whenever I have been consistent, that viewership does go up, because I also know for myself, the people I default to watching in my own time are people I know that are live. I know that this guy's live at 8 p.m. Cool, I'll throw him on. I haven't got to go searching. Content search is a nightmare. Okay. So let's just get it out of the way.
So yeah, that's something I always wonder is I'm like, are people actually paying attention to my schedule enough?
I don't think they can be like, I think I'm background noise for a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of my viewers.
My chat's usually pretty dead. Yeah, I'll have like 30 people in and one person talking.
Yeah,
and that person's asking about Rocket League and why I'm not at a live event.
All right, so we have the same chat viewership. We have the same people in our chats right now. I just ADHD'd out of that thought. I have no idea what I was. Genuinely have no idea what I was about to say. All I know is that it's hard to stream games sometimes because I'm like, oh, I just want to enjoy this by myself. But then when I try to enjoy it by myself, I'm like, oh, I should be streaming this, and it's just this cycle of like, how do I?
You know what I would do if I was you?
Yeah.
Because I did this the other week. Go into your Steam list or wherever you've got like all your games and create like 2 different collections.
Okay.
And then go through your entire profile and just be like, all right, this is content. This is me.
Okay.
because I've got like 2 different ones now. I think there is legit 100 games I've got set now for content. And then there's about 25 that I've got set to me. And that's like the long, like, no one's really going to want to watch that.
Okay.
So now I don't feel guilty. Like, I was never going to stream these games. I'm never going to stream Final Fantasy. I'm probably not going to stream Persona 4.
Okay.
So I can now play these without any guilt because I'm going to go live on this day at this time with this.
Okay. I think that's what causes my problem is the indecision.
I completely agree. The decision of what do I go live with today is always horrible because you'll be like, well, what's going to get the most viewers? And it's not that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work when you're going variety. Like you just the highest views I've had on my variety stuff. I had one time actually, and like I said earlier on, like I've got a certain range that I'm sat at. It was like 4 times that, and that was for Pokemon. And the other one that came really close to that was Papers, Please. Like, that's 2 very far ranges, but it's not the ones that you would, especially not Papers, Please. You wouldn't say that's the viewership one there. Yeah. So it can just pop up out of anywhere, really.
Yeah, I think I just got to make decisions. So I'm doing.
I'm gonna do the collection thing. I think that really helps because then you'll have a whole bunch of games there that you will know that is yours. Like nobody is involved in watching those. And then you just know that, all right, I want to play this, but I need these are the ones I need to push for. These are the ones that if I was playing this in my own time, I'd be like, I could be doing something else. You know?
I actually coincidentally just yesterday, or 2 days ago when this goes live, I just tried the streaming RL first and then afterwards switching to something like Star Citizen afterwards. And it did feel like there was a little bit of carryover, not all, again, about 50% went missing, but there was still some carryover, more than I would normally have. And so it's interesting that you say that now. So I'm going to have to take that as truth and start doing that more. Here's the thing. This is why I do this stuff, is because I sit down, I'm selfish, and I'm trying to steal everyone else's ideas of how to be successful. And it's working.
That's literally, I mean, you've just described commentary. Like, I like that guy does that. Everyone's commentary style is just like some sort of witch's cauldron of stuff that they've heard that they like, and then it's created their own thing from any of that.
I mean, that's competition. That's how people get better, right? Competitiveness through.
That's how writing and stuff works. You just see stuff that you like, and you're like, oh, I can build upon that in my own style.
Nothing is new under the sun. Everything is derived from something else.
Now the creatives have been taken out. So if there is a German farmer who is a Rocket League pro listening on Spotify that feels a bit creative right now, honestly,
hope you've
had a terrible day. Hope you've had an awful day.
Go away. We don't stop listening. I don't want you as a viewer anymore. Get out of here. Well, I'm glad that we narrowed down our target. That's a perfect place, I think, to end it, is saying screw you to that one specific person.
Everyone except that. You're welcome.
All right, I'm gonna let you get there. I actually, little spoiler for people for the next episode. I have Dazarin. I'm recording just after this one here. So the episode after this will be that. So you can make sure you guys are hitting the subscribe buttons, the like buttons, the follow buttons on Spotify, whatever the buttons are, if you want to hear more of this. But Shogun, I have to say thank you so much for sitting down and joining me. This was awesome.
Goodbye, Gun. It's been a good fun time.
Goodbye, Gun? Is that your
I usually go LO Gun, but Goodbye Gun I don't think is going to stick. Like that was worth a go.
I don't know what that was. You guys can make whatever you want of it in the comments below. But either way, shout out to Shogun for joining me and everyone that was listening. And I will see you all, hopefully, if you liked it, on the next episode.